previous episodes, we had the problem with the fuel sender gauge flashing. So this is a quick look back at the previous videos that I've done. So this has been the final video. It's going to be quick because it was quite involved in the end. So switching the ignition on, and we got the flashing gauge, which I identified as problematic sender unit. So yesterday I decided to do this. So I dropped the fuel tank from the van. 4 bolts hold it on. It had more fuel in it than I thought, so I used the primer pump to pump the diesel out, and there was a lot of diesel. So once all the diesel was out, it wasn't too bad. It kind of like lowered down fairly easily. No problems with tanks warping. That was a concern. Apparently people have suffered it before. There you go. So there's the sender unit, which looks like a simple job of just undoing the they're the bolts for the bars that hold the tank onto the van. But yeah, it should have been a straightforward job, but at this point it's sort of got a bit more difficult. No reason why it should have, but the plastic cap that screws on over the pump, it unscrewed fairly easily, but getting it back on was really hard. There's an arrow on the cap which points to the left, so you look at the thread and you can see where it starts. There's the sealing washer there. I'm just going to go over it in a bit, but that's when I saw the broken cable, like the red one, come off the connector. So that was the reason it all stopped working, which I thought might be the case. Yeah, just that wire. So at first I thought, I'll solder that, but the wire was quite corroded. So I thought, well, I've got the new fuel sender, so I might as well just use that. To note, when you push it into the tank, it's on springs, as you can see there, so it kind of like shortens as you push it in, which is fine until you don't kind of do, or sorry, you do what I do, where I must have caught it somewhere, and the bit on the side there with the 2 wires going in snapped off like a retaining piece of plastic. So I basically, sorry, that was with the new one, so I had to go back to this old one and do a bit of soldering, adding a piece of wire. So yeah, I broke my replacement one, so I had to go back to the one with the broken wire and then just solder on some extra wire to take out the broken, corroded stuff. But getting it back in was an absolute pain. It probably took me about an hour. I'm not sure if that's warped itself, but the cap was just so hard to get on. We got it on the end, put all the pipes back in place, and secured the bolts back underneath, as you can see. I was going to take the metal holding bars off and give them a good sort of scrubbing with wire brush and rust treatment, and then probably paint them, but I just ran out of time, so I have to think about that one. So yeah, there's under the bonnet, so that's what I was using, the primer pump to pump the diesel. I had 2 big tanks in the end, plastic tanks, which I kind of had under the bonnet, so I was just pumping it out. So yeah, it was quite a major job, probably about 3 hours to do it, just because of the pain getting the sender back in. So the result of all of this work is that the sender is now working. Yep, it's actually working, which is good, because I would have gone mad. Imagine all the work getting this back up and back in, and you know, I did test it before I just put it back into its final place, but yeah, just wasn't 100% sure on it. But yeah, it's good. So that is back to working now. No problems at all. So yeah, it's been good. It's a bit of a pain. I wouldn't do it in the winter. But yeah, just be careful though with the weight of the when you undo the bolts, you can kind of like guess the weight of the tank by just pushing it up and down the when you unscrew the bolts a little bit. Don't undo them all the way, and then you can just feel how much weight's left in it. But yeah, don't try and drop the tank with a lot of fuel in. It's a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, thanks for watching that. I'll leave you a sticky man.
Mummy, he wanted the side flip and the back flip. He wouldn't want to see it. It's really, really funny. Hello, funny man. Can you see how funny it is? It is so hilarious. Look. It's like Spider-Man doing backflips and front flips. See? He's unstickable. See? He does 4-leg crouch. See?